Yeah, it's another Amiga 1200 motherboard. And so that's a project for us. He also wants me to recap it. And that's where this comes from. I guess he bought a recap kit for me to do that with. So. I'm also writing down on a piece of paper kind of like a diagram where the capacitors go. I could download something or look it up or whatever, obviously, but I'm sure that Retro Bench or wherever this came from, I think on their site they probably have something, but so just FYI, this factory installed solder is giving me a hard time, so I'm going to have to add solder to all the joints just to get a higher lead content in order to pull them out. So that's what I'm doing now. So we got two others right here. Hopefully that's mostly in focus. That there's a little bit of corrosion here, but that might be from this. I don't know what's going on here. Actually, it's got flux on it, and then it looks like the solder mask has been eaten through. Yeah, there's something going on here. I can't really get the solder to stick. Let's find out if it's corrosion or not. The alcohol shouldn't really do much for the corrosion, but if it's some other kind of goop, it should go. It should. Yeah, some other kind of goop, because I'm able to get into it now. I'm able to melt and mix the solder. Okay. Good. That one fell right out. That's good. Let me just write down that one that fell out before I pull any others. C237. Or, no, it's C409. C409 is a 470/16. And C237 is a 1010. Just to show you my diagram, just, you know, I kind of have a rough picture of the board drawn here. Neither of these are going to wiggle out because I can see solder in the holes. So I'm just going to repeat the process and try to get them out. If I can't get all the solder out of one of the holes, I'll just use that technique where you can just get through-hole components out just by rocking them back and forth and pulling them out from the other side. And then clearing the holes afterwards or whatever. So I'm just going to continue on with this. So anyway, I was just looking to see where that SMD capacitor goes. It's labeled, oh, it's for 2B, and this is a 1A board. That's why I can't find it. Durr. Okay, so we're not going to worry about that one. Anyway, okay, so I cleaned the other side of the board with where the through-hole caps are, and then I'm just going to put these in. So let's do that now. I still don't know why they call mini drills pin vices, but anyway, yeah, sometimes you just need to clean out a hole. That's what she said. 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 Okay, so we're good there. Now we'll just finish this job off and do the SMDs. That last shot of the of the computer was probably way out of focus because I still had my lens, my macro lens on here. Anyway, all right, let's get to replacing the rest of these caps. Diagram over here. Just going to add flux to every joint real quick. I don't agree with those people who twist off their SMD capacitors. That's a really easy way. Oh, look, there's corrosion here. Oh, look at that. Cool. I was hoping to see some. So that kind of means this hasn't been recapped, at least not very recently. You guys see that? I'll zoom in on the video as well. But there's corrosion right here. I didn't see that. And it's gotten onto the board a little bit too. Looks pretty minor. So we're going to remove all these caps and then we're going to clean that area really well, which we would anyway, but we'll make sure we try to get rid of all that corrosion. In fact, we're probably going to have a problem unless we scrape some of that off of there. So I'm just going to work with this group right here. This one here has a dull pad on it. That one looks like it's fun to get to. And this one has a dull pad too. A good visual inspection will tell you if you need a recap, because you'll see, yeah, you might have just a little bit of board repair. Who knows? I mean, the board's working, so maybe not, but anyway, let's so what I do is I rock the capacitors back and forth. You know, I think I'm going to need to change tips. Can I get this in here? Yeah, maybe. I have my angled tip, and it's a little larger. Yeah, this is the toughest one. I probably, see, this is where it would have been better to go ahead and, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, to go ahead and pull all of them off. I just wanted to illustrate an alternate technique. But you see these big electrolytics are in the way. There. Oh, okay, so that one didn't, worst case scenario, you have to, oh, I think it's corroded. I think I need to scrape a little bit. Worst case scenario, you have to, I would have to take the other capacitor back out. Ooh, that one was a battle. But that was the worst one. All the others will come pretty easy compared to that. Yeah, I think we just lifted the pad off. Yep, we sure did. And that's the one that had the most corrosion on it. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Glad that happened, actually. I mean, not for the person who sent me the board, but for illustrative purposes. Carefully. I'm being careful which way. I'm not pushing the brush this way because that pad's going to come up. I don't want that pad to move anymore. So normally you'd be all right with setting a capacitor back down on that, but I think as an experiment I'm going to go ahead and try to glue that pad down. I'm just going to go through here and remove the rest of the excess solder here. Got to add solder to remove solder. Cut back your solder wick so that there's still a little bit of solder left on the end. That helps you. This is pretty much my only use for solder wick. It's for cleaning up SMD. You can, there's pads, you know, other types of pads you can clean up with it, but ever since I got a solder, you know, removal tool, anything that's through hole, I use that. So we have the pad that lifted off, pretty much center frame there. It's right here. So we're going to have to try to get a little bit of alcohol underneath that. The glue will not stick to flux or corrosion or whatever. And my hobby knife, I think, is the only thing I have that's going to get me underneath that. So we're gonna spoil our hobby knife blade with our CA glue. Seems like I have a little too much there. Yeah, see how much I have there? I think that's a little more than I want. So I'm just gonna... What happened to my additional light? There we go. This is medium CA glue, so it doesn't dry instantly, which is kind of the way I like it most of the time. Okay. Just going to hold that there for a minute. And when I pull my hand away, I'm going to pull it away, my finger away. I'm going to pull it sideways in this particular direction because the glue will stick to my finger. Some can ooze out and stick to my finger, and then I'll lift my finger up and take the pad with it. So you just have to be careful of that. That's why I did it that way. So yeah, that's a via that's right next to it. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see it. It's all green. All right, so let's just go ahead and put our capacitors in this area. Piece of advice, don't put this capacitor in before this one. Don't do what I did. And if you do, use your thinner tip. Okay, thinner tip. Yeah, I wasn't going to get away with it. You know what, screw it, I'm taking this capacitor out. That was just a huge mistake. Should have just done that in the first place. I don't know what I was thinking. There. That makes me feel better. Still, it's tight. I mean, even on this other side. So many things around it that grab your solder too. Okay. I'm going to continue on putting the rest of these on off camera because I'm frustrated at this point. I lost a pad here, and it isn't even, you know, it isn't even where there's corrosion. So that's just really frustrating. So on to Amiga PCB Explorer at amigapcb.org. Have I ever seen a Rev 1A before? regardless, let's see where this pad goes. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. There's there's a via right next to the, see if I can get you in there. It's becoming a little crowded here now because of all the stuff. Only got a few capacitors left. Hopefully none of the other pads come off. Jeez. Here's the pad that came off. And then there's a trace that goes this way. And then there's a via right there. I'll put it up on the screen as a screenshot or something so you can see it, but that's going to be my connection point. That via, which I will have to connect to one side of the capacitor, the positive side. I thought this was going to be a boring video. Maybe it still is. Obviously it is for some people still. But I thought it was going to be a routine video anyway. So a couple videos ago I showed you that I use magnet wire to replace traces. So I'm not even sure I can get the camera in here really well. I guess we can orient things like this. Yeah, that'll do right there. So let's just clean off the pad from whatever mask might be on there. Make sure we can solder to it. Yeah, I believe. Trying really hard to be steady, but there, that's definitely okay. So we have our capacitor. We need a piece of magnet wire of an appropriate length. Scrape off one side. I know some of this isn't going to be in focus, but as I said earlier, magnet wire is the best thing for replacing traces. It'll slide through vias. It's so thin, but it doesn't have insulation the way you would think of it. The insulation on this it's like it's painted on, and you can't really strip it. You have to scrape it. Tin that side of it. Sorry if you can't see. Alright, that side's tinned. Then we're going to cut it to length, make it to our capacitor, and over here is pretty short. Little piece. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm just scraping. Right? So, just going to make a right turn with the wire, like that. And then, I think the next part we're going to do is attach it to that via. Nice and tight. Got a little piece of metal there. Okay. Now we just need to tack the other side of this capacitor down and we'll be good to go. There it is. You got it. I guess I could straighten it out. What the heck, you know? So we're good there on our clearance for the keyboard, and I'm okay because this is insulated. I'm just going to push it down, and there we go. That's our repair right there. So only one side of this capacitor is down, which, I mean, in a production sort of you know, durability thing, it's not the best, but it's pretty easy to assume that people are going to take care of these things and not treat them like crap. So I'm going to keep moving on here, and if I have any other problems, I'll bring you along. This pad lifted, but just the edge of it, so that's not a big deal. But I'm being super careful now. Instead of lifting the capacitors, I'm twisting them. I'm heating them up and twisting them. I don't want any more trouble out of this motherboard, I tell you. Usually my method of lifting one side and the other carefully it works. Well, I think what it is there's a little bit of corrosion, and the solder, I noticed that after I get the capacitor off, the solder looks a different color on these inside parts, and I think there's a little bit of corrosion there, and it kind of requires kind of a breaking free sort of scenario. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna proceed. I'm going to use some compressed air to get the residual alcohol out from under. It can hide. Alcohol can hide underneath stuff. So after you've given a board like this, an SMD board, well, any board really, a cleaning with alcohol, it goes underneath stuff, and you should use air and go at it from like all the different angles and try to get it out from under there and dry it out. Okay, I'm all set up here. Let's just try to load something. Okay, just gonna load a game, make sure we got audio and graphics or whatever. Gotta love CRT displays. Anyway, friends, this is going to start playing music, and we'll end with that. So I just like to thank you for joining me again, and we'll see you next time, friends.